holy cow, the markets have been volatile recently. It's really based on a lot of the uncertainty that's out there. I mean, we've seen economic unpredictability before, but this seems to be a bit of chaos in real time. The current administration's trade policy reminds me of that game Whack-A-Mole. We've got tariffs appearing and disappearing faster than you can say supply chain disruption. And this is having an impact on businesses, consumers, and investors. And that is the subject of this economic quick take. Let's go ahead and break this down. I mean, one day steel and aluminum tariffs are imposed, and then the next day they're delayed. A week later, China hits back with their own tariffs, only for negotiations to restart days later. So this isn't just policy, it's kind of economic whiplash, and it's impacting all of us. So us as consumers, us as investors, and also corporate boardrooms. But let's start with consumers. Every time a tariff is announced, it triggers price changes across industries. So you're going to see it on appliances, automobiles, even basic groceries. And businesses pass on these costs, and suddenly you see your grocery bill up 10%. An important part of this is the impact on consumer confidence. It's taking a hit right now. And when people worry about the future, they spend less, which puts the brakes on economic growth. We've talked about this for a while, that the consumer is the reason the economy has been on a solid footing. So consumers losing confidence is cause for concern. Now let's talk about the folks in corporate boardrooms. So imagine trying to plan long-term when the rules are changing every few hours. I mean, expansion plans on hold, hiring definitely frozen right now. Supply chains potentially scrambled. This is the kind of economic unpredictability that forces businesses to pull back, which means slower job growth. And speaking of jobs, the newly created Department of Government Efficiency has definitely been aggressively cutting positions and implementing cost-saving measures, but that's also adding to uncertainty in the job market. So while these efforts aim to streamline government spending, they also contribute to rising unemployment and potentially economic instabilities, which is why markets have been so volatile recently. Let's turn our attention to us as investors. Investors in general hate uncertainty. Short-term traders thrive on the volatility we're seeing, but for us as long-term investors, we prefer stability, predictability, and maybe a clear economic direction. And right now, we're not seeing much of that, if any at all. And so the prudent move here is for us just to stay the course. The market turbulence definitely is scary, but history has shown us time and time again that disciplined investing and staying the course is what wins in the long run. So some of you have asked me a form of this question, which is, how bad can this get before it gets better? And in the short term, tariffs can lead to higher prices, definitely lower profits from corporations, and slower job growth. And if the trade war escalates further, we could see a full-scale economic contraction and possibly a recession. On the flip side, if cooler heads prevail, we may see new trade agreements that bring stability and confidence back to the markets, and that could happen relatively quickly, as we've seen things moving hour by hour with regard to the trade war and tariff policy. The trade wars have clear winners and losers. Domestic industries that benefit from the tariffs, like steel and some parts of agriculture, can see short-term gains, but exporters, retailers, industries relying on global supply chains, those are the ones that are going to suffer. And let's not forget about us as consumers. We almost always lose in a trade war. So what should you do? If you're a business owner, you're definitely going to try to diversify your supply chain and expect more uncertainty in the short run. As an investor, economic uncertainty has always been a part of the investment landscape, but the key to financial success has been consistency and having a strategy. And so diversification at times like this is a fairly critical component of your plan. Avoiding emotional reactions to the short-term volatility, also very important. And if you have questions or concerns, I encourage you to contact me and we can talk through those. Smart investing is simply having a strategy for the long run and sticking to it. And it's my job to help you do just that. That's it for today. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you're notified as I post new content, because in times like these, frankly, knowledge is going to be one of your best investments. All right, see you next time.